This is the incredible city of Bangkok, a place that I love and have called home for the past 3 years. I also lived for 4 years in Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand, and prior to that I spent 3 years living in Chumpon in the south. So I think it's the perfect time to share some of my opinions about living here in Bangkok. The other day I was going for a walk around the park and I started to make a list of all of the pros and all of the cons of living in Bangkok, but I definitely haven't got them all. I would have missed some for sure. So when you watch this, at the end, if there are a few pros that I've missed or a few cons that I've overlooked, please let me know in the comments and we can help everyone else watching this video learn a little bit more about what it's like to live in this incredible city. Okay, let's begin with the first con, and that is, it is actually quite expensive to live here. If you want to live anywhere in central Bangkok, from Siam all the way out as far as on Nut, then you're going to be paying a lot more for your rent on a monthly basis in a condo or in an apartment, because central Bangkok is very high demand. Even though there are lots of vacant properties, there is a lot of high rent. You can look at probably 30,000 Thai baht per month minimum in central Bangkok, and it gets a little bit cheaper the further out you go. I used to live on around 30,000 baht a month in places like Chiang Mai, but here in Bangkok I have to double or triple that amount every month. And again, you know, I'm enjoying my life here, and I go out and I go to the gym and I have a nice apartment, as you can see, but it all adds up, and living in Bangkok is quite expensive, more expensive than you might think. But a pro to living in Bangkok, and something that completely contradicts what I just said, is it's incredibly cheap. In comparison to somewhere like London or New York, right, you can live in Bangkok and live like a king. For $2,000 a month, you can rent an incredible luxury condominium or apartment, a big space with a great view, gym, sauna, swimming pool, and I can walk down the street, get my hair cut for 150 baht, get dinner for 40 or 50 baht, and get a couple of cans from 7-Eleven and sit at home and enjoy an evening and only spend $10 to $15 on breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a couple of beers. The problem with Bangkok is it's a lifestyle choice. If you want to live in a luxury apartment and eat out in these overpriced restaurants and drink in these overpriced rooftop bars, then you're going to be spending $3,000 a month minimum. But if you are a budget-minded person and you want to cut costs, you can eat delicious food for cheap. Just get it delivered on Grab, or you can get it on the street. Basically, Bangkok is incredibly cheap if you have a cheap lifestyle, but it's also quite expensive if you've got a luxury lifestyle. So it's all about your choice. One of the biggest cons in Bangkok is the traffic. Sometimes you want to go somewhere, but you don't want to sit in traffic and it might be raining, so you don't want to get on the back of a motorcycle, and the public transport might not be going in that direction. So sometimes you just have to grit and jump in a cab, and you know, forget driving a car in Bangkok. It's just absolutely outrageous. And I live in Sukhumvit, the busiest place with the most amount of traffic. And so even if you're just walking down the street, it's very noisy and there's a lot of pollution. And if you want to get somewhere in the traffic, good luck. But on the pro, the public transport here is great. If you live on the BTS and it's only a 5 or 10 minute walk from the station to your house, then you can just get into and around Bangkok really easily and very affordably as well. There's also the MRT, which is ever expanding. It seems like every few months they open up a new section or a new line. Bangkok is becoming more and more accessible underground thanks to the amazing MRT public transport system. And then of course you have tuk-tuks and buses and other ways to get around the city. They've got the canals, they've got the Chao Phraya riverboats. You can get around Bangkok for cheap on public transport. It can be a bit hectic and it can be a bit stressful, but it's incredibly cheap. Pavements in Bangkok are a nightmare, or sidewalks to my American viewers. I can't guarantee your safety if you want to walk down the street in Bangkok. You might snap your ankle, you might trip and break your hip, you might break your neck. It is absolutely outrageous. The cables, the uneven paved stones, the gutters, the steps, the random things that are just in the middle of the street. I live on quite a pedestrian friendly street here in central Bangkok, and just walking to the gym every day, I roll the dice. Will I break my ankle or will I get there in one piece? Bangkok sidewalks are a health and safety hazard at the best of times. A great pro that I love is the green spaces, the parks. Now, you have to live in central Bangkok to really be able to enjoy them. You've got Lumpini, Benchikiti, Benjisiri, they're all clumped together, really. but they are beautiful, huge, big, green, open spaces with lizards, great sunsets, lots of people working out, lots of people walkings in the mornings. However, if you don't live in central Bangkok and you're not close to these parks, then you won't be getting that feeling of being near the green spaces, and you might feel like you're living in a concrete jungle, and it could get quite stressful. My tip to you would be to live as close as you can to the green spaces. Of course, if you do want to live near the green spaces, then your rent is going to be a lot higher because you're going to be living in downtown central Bangkok. So just bear this all in mind. The internet here, it's so fast and it's so cheap. I pay around $30, which is extremely expensive. You can get much cheaper deals, but I get the highest level. I think I get 1 terabyte or something ridiculous, the speed. It's 5G, it's super fast. If you need to get work done online, let's say you're a YouTuber or you need to send files home back to Europe or whatever you're doing, if you're working online, you will never have to worry about bad internet connection, no matter where you're going in Thailand, to be honest, but especially here in Bangkok, the Wi-Fi speeds are outrageously fast, which is fantastic. Another con of living in Bangkok is I miss things from back home, especially on the telly, BBC iPlayer, the FA Cup, and just little things like watching Coronation Street and things like that, things that make me miss home. But thankfully, thanks to NordVPN, I can switch my location and access all of the information and entertainment that I'm used to living back home. NordVPN are sponsoring this video, but they are giving you a great discount, so keep watching. Obviously, a VPN is essential these days, whether you're traveling around Southeast Asia or you're coming to live in Bangkok. The first and most important one, obviously, is it keeps your internet connection safe and private, especially when you're using public Wi-Fi. Obviously, the internet is super fast in Bangkok, but that means the hackers can use it to attack you. So make sure you've got a NordVPN turned on whenever you're using Wi-Fi in a public space and you won't have any worries. NordVPN hides your IP address and encrypts your data so nobody can snoop on what you're doing. Plus, NordVPN stops all those annoying pop-ups that come up when you're trying to stream the match on a dodgy website, for example. Not like I ever do that. Any purchase of a 2-year plan, you'll actually get bonus months on top. It's 4 bonus months extra on top of any purchase of a 2-year plan. What a great deal. And it's totally risk-free. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So sign up, check it out, use it, and if you don't like it, then you can get a refund in 30 days, no problem. Head to nordvpn.com/Paddy Doyle to unlock this deal. It is in the description and the pinned comment. Let's get back to the pros and cons. I think the biggest pro to living in Bangkok is the food options. There are hundreds of places to eat on nearly every single street. You are spoilt for choice. There will be absolutely nothing you can't order on Grab or simply walk down the street and find within a few minutes. And sometimes if you're really craving that thing that's not within your local community, you're only going to be 5 minutes down the road on the BTS, 1 or 2 stations away from something you're craving, whether it's Western food, Japanese, Italian, obviously Thai everywhere. And yeah, it's just a food lover's paradise. One of the cons to living in Bangkok, sadly for me, that's kind of appeared out of nowhere was the aftermath of the earthquake. We had an absolutely horrible earthquake here. A few people lost their lives and a lot of buildings were damaged. And I was in my apartment here behind me when the whole thing happened. And me and my girlfriend were swaying from side to side for what felt like forever. And thankfully, nothing really bad happened in our building. There was a few cuts and bruises and a few people shaken up. But really, the effects have lasted a lot longer than the actual shake itself. Mentally, people are struggling with living so high. A lot of people are now looking to move and find low-rise buildings because people just don't want to be 40 stories high up in the sky after the earthquake. A lot of people don't really care and they're just getting on with their life, and I'm so jealous of those people. But for me, I still feel it swaying from time to time. I've gotten over the worst of it, but I suffered quite badly, and I am looking to move out when my lease is over in February. The shopping in Bangkok is incredible, not just living here, but there are a lot of people that fly all the way to Bangkok from places like Chiang Mai or from Phuket or from Malaysia just to do their shopping, whether it's contact lenses and medical supplies to clothing. You can get everything and much more in Bangkok. You can literally go to the mall and buy a Rolls Royce. It's ridiculous. The shopping here is incredible and one of the pros of living here for sure. if you do want to live here, a con you should consider is the visa options. You can come here as a tourist and then leave and do a visa run, but the days of doing visa run after visa run are slowly coming to an end. More and more times I'm reading online on Facebook groups and things like that of people who are getting refused re-entry because they've been doing visa runs too many times. And these long-term visa options are expensive. Now, just do your own research when it comes to your own personal needs. If you're setting up a business here, that can be quite time consuming and expensive, but it is a great way to get a long-term visa. Of course, you do need a Thai partner to create a business here in Thailand. You've also got the DTV and Thai privilege visa options. They're both really great, but they're also very expensive. So if you do want to live in Bangkok full time, you're going to need a retirement visa, you're going to need a marriage visa, a long-term visa, or a business visa. Don't think you can just up and leave and move to Thailand and live here long-term. That's not really how it's done over here. Of course, in Europe and in the West, we're welcoming people from all over the world, no matter where they're coming from or what they're bringing to the table. But here in Thailand, they're very strict. If you want to live here, you need to pay big bucks and go through the Thai privilege system, get a DTV where you need $14,000 minimum in your bank account. You need to set up a business here with a Thai partner and pay all of your taxes in the country. Thailand has pretty smart, very strict, but really good immigration policies that keep the quality of the people moving out here high and not just opening the floodgates. Of course, if you're coming here as a tourist, you'll have the best time in Bangkok. I'm just talking here about people who want to move here full time and live here for a year or two or longer. There are so many events going on. I'm always getting invited to a stand-up comedy night. My friend might be DJing at something. I might get an invite to a movie premiere or all these kind of things. I normally say no to them because I'm busy or I'm just a little bit antisocial, but there's always something going on in the city. A concert, a festival, a street food event, fireworks, festivals, it's always going on. There's never a dull moment living in Bangkok. Now, I mentioned earlier that I lived in Chiang Mai, and that suffers terribly for about 3 months a year of awful air pollution. And Bangkok doesn't exactly escape the air pollution problem either, but it is much less of a problem than somewhere like Chiang Mai. We do get smoke, and it does become hazy, and it does peak in April and March, but it's nowhere near as bad as places like the north. That being said, it is still a big city with millions of cars, and yeah, there is pollution, and you do feel it on hot, dry days. And if you're walking down Sukhumvit Road and it's rush hour, you are going to get a sore throat, and it is going to be a bit miserable. So just bear that in mind. This is a huge mega city. There is air pollution. This has got to be the #1 pro of living in Bangkok, and that is the Thai people. Everyone that you meet in Thailand and everybody in Bangkok are super friendly and welcoming to you. As long as you respect them and the country that you're in as a guest, even if you live here full time, guys, you are a guest. Even if you get Thai citizenship and you speak Thai and you're married to a Thai and you have Thai children and you're fully integrated, you're still a Falang. Okay, you're always going to be a Falang, and so just remember that, respect where you live, and they will love and respect you. I love the Thai people. It's the only reason why I've stayed here all this time. They welcomed me, and they welcome you to come here. Just be respectful and they'll love you back. The language barrier can stress people out. Now, with the modern day age of Google Translate or AI and these translation devices that you can buy online and things like that, it is pretty straightforward, but you'll be surprised how pointing and body language helps a lot. If you don't speak very much Thai, don't worry. There is a language barrier which could stress you out and does stress some people out, but if you live here full time and you want to live in Bangkok, don't worry too much. Most people speak English, but it is an issue. The weather here, now, of course, it's hot and it rains, but the weather is beautiful. Like, look outside, it's bright, it's sunny. I'll go for a nice walk around the park this afternoon and it will be beautiful. There might be a huge rain cloud. I don't know. I might get caught in the rain because it's rainy season, but the weather in Bangkok for most of the year is incredible. It gets absolutely boiling hot in April, a bit miserable to be honest, and it gets really rainy in July and August. So just bear those 2 months in mind. Boiling hot and a lot of rain, but if you can handle the rain and you've got aircon, you'll be fine. When there is a lot of rain, however, there's quite a lot of flash flooding. Nothing too dangerous, like people don't lose their lives in Bangkok, but streets will just flood with water. There isn't really enough space for this water to evaporate or to get away from the streets down into the gutters. They fill up and the canals fill up, and then they all stream into the river, and it can get a little bit hectic. So when there is a big downpour, if you're out for an evening walk, for example, you might have an interesting experience trying to get home. And the final con really is it can take a long time to get into the frequency of Bangkok. It took me multiple times, multiple visits, to actually understand Bangkok. The first few times I came here, I hated it. It was massive, it was overwhelming. I didn't know anything. I was getting scammed, I was getting harassed, it was boiling hot, I was hungover, everything was going wrong. I had food poisoning, I just got eaten up and chewed alive. But then, over time, I started to make friends. I started to look into different areas. I started to understand the frequency of Bangkok. It takes a long time. You might arrive and absolutely hate it. And to those people, I say, I understand you, because that's the same feeling I had. But just trust me, when you persevere and you start to learn, and you get experience and badges of honor, and you start to understand how the MRT works and how the BTS works and how to get into a taxi and get them to turn the meter on immediately, and how to use Grab and make friends and go to events, and all of a sudden Bangkok opens itself up to you, and you start to realize that you're living in the greatest city in the world. It's great, it's affordable, it's beautiful, it's got amazing people, amazing food, it's the best city in the world. It just comes with a few cons, like everywhere else. Okay, that's enough of me waffling about my love and hate relationship with Bangkok, but it's all love, guys. It's all love. That's what they do here, okay? A little heart-shaped thing. Very Asian, but we are in Asia. This city is my favorite city in the world, and I'm just so privileged and thankful to be able to call it home. And if you are moving to Bangkok, or you're thinking about coming here just on a short trip, then just have the best time, take it easy, use this video as a guide, and go into the comments and see what other people have left in terms of advice and other pros and other cons to consider that I might have missed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and have a great trip to Bangkok.